Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan and the SEC versus Ripple documents. They just keep raining down from the sky almost daily. I'm going to bring you up to date because there are 3 new ones that came out today. And also, we have something to look forward to. There is some real data coming, and it seems to be evidence that XRP on-demand liquidity is activated in places with exchanges and users that maybe haven't quite been let out of the bag yet. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. And we're also going to look at El Salvador. I think they have a little bit of a problem with their solution. And the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, yeah, we have this process going on where the countries are digitizing their currencies. And I want to show you with the latest document coming out of the Bank of International Settlements where their head is at on that. I think there are some surprises in there, unless you are really going outside the bubble of some of the YouTube channels. But first, with the Ripple claim that the SEC extension would be prejudice, and what they are speaking about is that should the 60-day extension be granted to the SEC to continue their discovery, it's just not fair. It's a delayed justice. And the SEC has come back with, in my words, BS. Well, they are taking the position that an extension will not harm on-demand liquidity to an effect that it doesn't matter, because they believe that it's not the primary line of business for Ripple. What they don't understand, and let me really show you here, is that you must first lay down the rails. That is what is required. ODL, on-demand liquidity that uses the digital asset XRP, can't go first. The liquidity then follows after those rails are laid down with market makers and exchanges to support and facilitate the bridge currency. This is a process that takes steps, okay? And so the fact that you don't see them putting in ODL first, of course not. So they really don't understand the business at hand. And I think the reason that they point that as a fact that the 60 days should be granted, the judge needs to be made aware of how the business model works. And so I think that it was a very poor reason to say that they could have this additional 60 days, that it doesn't matter. It just goes to show either they are just being intellectually dishonest, or they really truly don't know. I don't know which is the case. Maybe a little of both. So I want you to pay attention to on-demand liquidity, because this is the use case that Ripple is driving the digital asset XRP for its utility. And that's really important, because at the end of the day, utility does matter. That is going to determine the long-term survivability of any digital asset. And the more you tie up XRP in this process of on-demand liquidity moving across exchanges that facilitate ODL, the more impact on supply. That's not my speculation. That comes from CTO David Schwartz, who has said this in past podcasts and has written it on various SNS platforms. And so please look to this data that's coming with its use case, and it is going to be on the Twitter feed of @ShortTheFOMO. This weekend. He says he's going to do his best to put that recap from everything that he is finding. All right, let's keep it moving, because there's another document. And of course, these documents are coming fast and furious, the quickest, with the uploads by Jimmy James. And this is an attorney who's doing a fantastic job at keeping everybody up to date. And in its response to Ripple's request for the internal Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP documents that Judge Netburn has already asked for twice, the SEC continues to request the court to understand that the request to produce these emails and formal position papers, privilege logs, employees trading digital assets, particularly the latter request, they wish it to be denied. And they say, the SEC, that has been busy, they claim, reviewing tens of thousands of communications and documents. And I quote, defendants, speaking of Ripple, are wasting the courts and the SEC's time, citing the search is a significant burden and there is no basis to demand such an extensive endeavor by June 18th. The SEC, yeah, they really don't want to produce the trading of digital assets record, claiming they're irrelevant and that they have no bearing on the Howey analysis. The questions you have to ask here are they stalling? And in the grand scope of everything, are the 75 action lawsuits that the SEC has brought against crypto companies thus far in the last 5 to 6 years, was that really fair warning? Was that really a fair notice that XRP was or was not a security? I want you to remember that all the cases involved were an ICO, and the ICO was never done with XRP. So XRP existed before the ledger. It's a huge distinction, huge distinction. In the Finance Feed article today, they say that 96% of all SEC cases are settled before trial, 60% before litigation, and 90% in discovery, which is where we're at now. So just keep that statistic in mind. Attorney Jeremy, with his exquisite humor, he posted a pic of women looking nearly catatonic playing bingo, and he said that the SEC has indeed been expeditiously reviewing and producing documents as it argues, and its response to Ripple's motion to compel, in its response to Ripple's motion to compel. In fact, I've obtained a behind-the-scenes picture of the SEC's litigation staff working hard to comply. It's so funny. Yeah, I love his humor. And then the third document uploaded today was regarding a new attorney coming to the defense, and it is Nicole Tads, and she's representing Brad Garlinghouse. So yeah, you give it to him, Nicole. Give it to him good. Moving to what I believe is very important to follow right now, and that is what is going on in Latin America. It doesn't matter if you do or don't own Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if you think Bitcoin is bad. I'm telling you, this kind of development going on needs to be paid attention to. And it refers to the Bitcoin adoption that is being taken on as a sovereign currency, the same level as their USD dollar that they use. And it is, I think, going to be a very big deal with massive implications on so many different levels. The U Today article of Ripple's Division of Development Relations accuses the application Strike, built on Bitcoin's Lightning Network by Zap, by the way. Strike is just a white label product, a layer on top of a layer. According to this Ripple employee, it is copying XRP on-demand liquidity. The article was written because of this tweet. It is by Matt Hamilton, and if you look back on a video, he points out 3 years ago, it's with Ashish Burla, Strike has a striking resemblance to on-demand liquidity. There are some issues with Strike, lots of issues. It makes a big problem for many reasons. I tweeted this out on Thursday. I really want to be clear. And this isn't coming from me. This is coming from actual architects of the Lightning Network and also BTCs, the maxis in the space that have been on various videos. Strike requires pre-funded channels. There are millions of dollars right now tied up in pre-funding these channels. I mean, this is the whole reason why XRP exists. It was trying to free up all that tied up capital that correspondent banking models have had to subscribe to for years and years and years. And now here we have this solution that is going back to a pre-funded channel. That's crazy, for number one. Strike has huge liquidity issues, which means they don't have enough pre-funded channels. I mean, it doesn't make economic sense, for one, to be a node that pre-funds these channels. That is clearly been shown. It is also highly centralized. There are some huge third-party risk to any centralized business model. Strike has serious constraints. And what that means is that the channels can only put through a very small amount at one time. One of the biggest reasons why is because Lightning, when it gets congested, it loses Bitcoin. Seriously. Credit Suisse Bank website, you can go check that. They cite that as one of the problems with Lightning. Strike nodes, yeah, like I said, it doesn't make economic sense to actually be one of those owners of a channel that is being pre-funded, and it's not scalable. All right, people will say that Bitcoin is going to get scalable in the future with the upgrade of Taproot. Yeah, maybe. By August, we'll know if the 90% of the nodes or the miners agree to the upgrade. That is still to be seen. And just like Ethereum 2.0 has been trying to happen for years, just because something is approved to be upgraded doesn't mean that the upgrade just gets flipped on with a switch. So it's not something that's going to happen anytime soon. And I'm talking years. And Strike also requires both parties to be online. Can you imagine? Okay, I live in Tokyo, right? And I want to send money to my dad. And I want to tell my dad, well, I really don't want to do it at 3 o'clock in the morning. Can you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and be there so I can send it? I mean, it's utterly ridiculous that two parties around the world have to be online at the same time to send money. I mean, even just on that one point, which is the seventh point that I bring out that has huge issues, I want to say that 7 strikes, you're out. Yeah. I think that one problem on its own is enough to say that El Salvador has a big problem if they're going to rely on Lightning to actually provide that solution. I don't get it. And can I just show you one more problem? And this is an addition to my list. Per Strike's CEO, the process using the app, let me show you, takes the Bitcoins and automatically converts them back into USD Tether, a synthetic digital dollar known as Tether, using its real-time automated risk management and trading infrastructure. Santiago Velez, he, I think, sums it up perfectly well for me. Oof. The more I read, the worse it gets. Now it uses Tether. This is like taking everything that's half-baked in crypto, Bitcoin settlement, Lightning Network, and Tether, and piling it into an epic time bomb. I knew it was premature to celebrate. Always be skeptical. Yeah, that's my number one rule in life. When things seem too good to be true. Yeah, he's right. I'd say he is really correct. But I want to point out one thing. There is a decentralized, trustless way to do this. Please stay tuned. That's really all I want to say today on that, but please stay tuned. And now I want to provide some balance out there with some narratives that are going on. I've heard for months and months and months that the US is not behind, that they are just working behind the scenes. Okay, I am sure there's a lot of behind the scenes going on that you don't see. But this comes from the BIS this week. This is the Bank of Banks, and it shows the timelines of activity, starting with the top, being the Bahamas. They are fully live with their central bank digital currency. Following the Bahamas is Cambodia, Canada, China, and then another 17 countries, well ahead of the United States. Note that this list excludes even the activities of the central banks within the Euro system. So the US shows only a pilot was done in 2018 with 6 speeches that have come out in total over the last 3 years. Well, okay, you can be one of those that say that, oh, you're not really seeing the real thing. Well, here is one real thing that I will point out. A number of central bank digital currency prototypes were built on distributed ledger technology, so it states, and they used Corda, Hyperledger, and Quorum software. And they do say this software is very versatile, and they have now thought about borrowing concepts from Bitcoin, but they really want to be centralized. And as you can see from the title of this section, implementing cryptocurrencies are not the model. Cryptocurrencies are considered unimaginable to use, according to this particular paper, because of many reasons, but particularly unvetted parties that have a shared ownership, and even with supervised tech companies, it's not an efficient use of resources. So I think they're going to build their own private walled garden. Yeah. And that's okay, because we do have some side channels that are being proposed on the ledger. And Flare Networks also is able to provide trustless security for that. If you haven't read, you can find that documentation on the Flare Networks Twitter feed. So no doubt there's a lot happening in development going on behind the scenes. But I do want to believe that the BIS report here is accurate when it talks about where these countries are in regards to the stages of development. All right, everybody, did you know that Dogecoin, the logo, was from a real Shiba Inu in Japan? This is Kabosu. Kabosu-chan is a female dog. This picture was taken in 2010, and the photo was just turned into an NFT, which sold for 1,696.9 Ethereum. That's $4 million. It's going to go to the owner. She is a kindergarten teacher here in Japan. And actually, there are 7 more photos that are being offered as an NFT. You can see there's the cuddly Doge, the sad Doge, the shocked Doge, the angry Doge, and the curious Doge. They are looking to end in about 2 days and 14 hours. Wow, the current bid on angry is 15 Ethereum. Wow, 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 that's a good price. Yeah, okay, so these are listed on Zora.co. So interesting, right? Well, look at Kabosu today. A little older, a little more gray. And this was a picture that was taken on April 1st. She still lives with the kindergarten teacher, although with the 4 million that she received on the NFT, I don't know, she'll still be teaching, possibly. And Kobosu lives with 3 cats. There is Azalea, Ginkgo, and Onigiri. Onigiri means rice ball. And I can understand why they named this kitty Onigiri, because if you think about the rice being white, being wrapped with the seaweed or nori, yeah, looks like a rice ball, and Onigiri. And I think this blog is kept up pretty current with the photos of all the 4-legged family members. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And the name that the Shiba was named after is about a lime, because when she was a puppy and first adopted, she was actually from a puppy mill that closed down, and so she was rescued basically. And this is a little lime in Japan that is used, so important for cooking. It's good on so many things, from grilled fish to grilled chicken. And it's quite small. It's only about this big, and it is got one of those unique citrus flavors to it. So this is what the original Dogecoin is named after. And I found the most recent picture on Feedly, which is a really great site. They're a company out of San Francisco that kind of aggregate data for you and pictures that you can manage. It's really handy site. This is Kobosu on June 4th. And it looks like to me this is Azalea that is in the picture with her. All right, everybody. Yeah, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.